Have you ever wondered why some people seem to learn anything so quickly, while others struggle for months or even years? What if I told you there are proven brain secrets that can actually rewire how fast you learn? Hi everyone, welcome back to English Unlocked. I'm Peter, and today we're diving into something truly fascinating: how to learn faster using real neuroscience-backed techniques. In this video, you'll discover how your brain physically changes when you learn, how to boost your focus and memory with simple daily habits, and how small mistakes can actually make you smarter. So, if you want to unlock the power of your brain and start learning more effectively from today, stay with me until the end. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video so you won't miss any of our new lessons and insights every week. When I started learning English many years ago, I remember how hard it was. I tried to remember every word, every rule, but nothing stayed in my head. I felt slow and confused. Maybe you know that feeling too. After 10 years of learning and teaching, I discovered something very interesting. The brain can change. It learns faster when we use it the right way. In this first part, I want to talk about how our brain grows when we learn. Our brain is like a garden. When we learn something new, we plant small seeds. These seeds are called connections. If we practice again and again, the seeds grow into strong trees. But if we stop, the small plants die. So, if you learn a new English word today, say it again tomorrow, and again next week. Every time you do, your brain builds a stronger road for that word. This is how learning really works. When I understood this, I stopped being afraid of forgetting. Now, I just keep planting more seeds every day. Learning takes time, but every small step is a real change in your brain. And that's where everything begins. Now, let's talk about something very important: attention. When I first learned English, I tried to study while checking my phone, listening to music, or talking to friends. But later, I found out that when my mind was not focused, I remembered almost nothing. Your brain can only learn well when you give it full attention. It's like taking a picture. If your hand moves, the picture is blurry. The same happens when your mind moves too much. So when you study English, try to make your mind still. Turn off your phone. Find a quiet place. Even 10 minutes of full focus is better than 1 hour of half focus. Sometimes it is hard, I know. Our world is full of noise and messages. But when you train your attention, your brain starts to listen more carefully. You start to hear new words, understand new sounds, and remember better. I learned to study with my heart and eyes together. No stress, no phone, just me and the words. And little by little, I could feel my brain becoming stronger. That is the real power of attention. In the last part, we talked about attention, how focus helps your brain learn better. But there is another thing that makes a big difference: alertness. When I was younger, I often studied late at night. I was tired, sleepy, and my brain felt slow. I read many pages, but the next day I forgot almost everything. I thought I had a bad memory, but I was wrong. Our brain learns best when we feel awake and active. When your body has energy, your brain can make strong connections. That is why a short walk, deep breathing, or even a little coffee can help you study better. But too much stress or worry does the opposite. It closes the door to learning. I remember one day before studying, I went for a short run. When I came back, my mind was clear, my mood was good, and suddenly English felt easier. I could remember new words faster and speak more freely. It was amazing. So now, I always prepare my body before I learn. I move a little, drink some water, and smile. It sounds simple, but it works. When your body wakes up, your brain wakes up too, and learning becomes lighter, easier, and more fun. In the last part, we talked about how being awake and full of energy helps your brain learn faster. But there is one more thing that is just as important: sleep. When I was a student, I often stayed up late to study English. I thought if I studied longer, I would learn more. But the truth is, my brain was too tired to remember anything. The next morning, I forgot most of the words I had learned. It was so frustrating. Later, I learned something amazing. When we sleep, our brain is still working. It takes all the things we learned in the day and puts them in a safe place, like saving a file on a computer. So if you want to remember new words or grammar, you need to sleep well. Now, when I study English, I make sure to rest after. Even a short nap helps me remember better. Sometimes I go to sleep thinking about a new word, and in the morning, I can still remember it clearly. It feels like magic, but it's really just how the brain works. So don't feel bad if you need to rest. Sleep is not wasting time, it's part of learning. When your body rests, your brain grows stronger. And that's how your English starts to live inside you, little by little, every night. In the last part, we talked about how sleep helps your brain remember what you learn. Now, let's talk about something very simple but very powerful: repetition. When I started learning English, I wanted to remember new words fast. I read them once and I thought I would never forget. But after a few days, the words were gone from my mind. I felt sad and thought maybe English was too hard for me. Then one day, I learned a big lesson. Your brain needs to see the same thing many times to remember it. It's like when you walk on soft sand. If you walk once, your footprints disappear. But if you walk the same path again and again, the line becomes clear and deep. That is what repetition does in your brain. Now, when I learn new words, I don't rush. I come back to them again tomorrow, and then again next week. Each time I repeat, I remember a little more. Sometimes I speak them out loud, sometimes I write them in a small notebook. It's simple, but it really works. So don't worry if you forget. Forgetting is part of learning. Just come back again and again and again. Every time you repeat, your English grows stronger, like a small plant turning into a big tree. But there is another secret that many learners forget: taking breaks. When I was young, I used to study for many hours without stopping. I thought more time meant faster learning. But after some time, I felt tired, bored, and nothing stayed in my head. It was like my brain was full and could not take more. Later, I learned that the brain needs rest to keep the things you learn. When you stop for a short time, your brain keeps working quietly inside. It's like baking bread. You need to let it rest so it can grow. If you don't, it becomes hard and flat. Now, when I study English, I take small breaks. After 20 or 30 minutes, I walk, drink water, or listen to music. I don't think about English during that time. And when I come back, my mind feels fresh again. It's easier to understand and remember new things. So don't feel bad if you need to pause. Learning is not a race. Sometimes, the best way to learn faster is to rest for a while. Give your brain a moment to breathe. It will thank you later. Now, let's talk about something many people are afraid of: making mistakes. When I started learning English, I wanted to be perfect. I was scared to speak because I didn't want to say something wrong. I waited until I knew enough, but that day never came. I missed many chances to practice and grow. One day, I met a teacher who told me, mistakes are not bad. They are your teachers. At first, I didn't understand. But later, I saw it was true. Every time I made a mistake, I learned something new. My brain woke up and said, this is how it works. Now, when I speak English, I don't worry about being perfect. I laugh when I make mistakes and try again. Because I know my brain learns faster that way. It's like a child learning to walk. They fall many times, but each fall makes them stronger. So, don't be afraid to speak or write in English, even if it's not perfect. Every mistake is a small step forward. The more you try, the better you become. And one day you'll look back and realize your mistakes were the best teachers you ever had. In the last part, we talked about mistakes and how they can help us learn faster. Now, let's talk about something that keeps everything together: practice every day. When I was younger, I used to study English only once or twice a week. I thought it was enough. But after a few days, I forgot many things, and it felt like starting again each time. It was so tiring. Later, I learned that small, daily practice is much better than long study once in a while. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day can make a big change. Your brain loves small steps. It remembers better when you touch English often. Now, I make English part of my daily life. I listen to short podcasts while I walk. I read one small story before sleep. I speak to myself in English when I cook or clean. It's not about studying hard, it's about staying close to the language every day. Sometimes I don't feel like studying, and that's okay. But I still do something small, maybe just one word or one sentence. Because I know little by little, all these small moments become big progress. So don't wait for the perfect time to study. Start with what you have, where you are, today. Your brain will thank you, and your English will grow one day at a time. In the last part, we talked about the power of daily practice and how small steps can change everything. Now, let's talk about something that makes learning more enjoyable: emotion. For a long time, I tried to study English like a robot. I read books, repeated words, but I felt no joy. It was boring, and soon I lost motivation. I asked myself, why can't I remember more? Then I realized something important. The brain remembers feelings, not just facts. When you feel happy, curious, or excited, your brain learns faster. It's like the words stick better when you care about them. So I changed the way I learned. I started watching English movies I loved. I listened to songs that made me smile. I read short stories that touched my heart. And suddenly, learning didn't feel like work anymore. It felt alive. Now, I always tell my students, don't just study English, feel it. Laugh, be curious, and enjoy the process. Because when your heart is open, your mind opens too. So, find what makes you love English. It can be music, stories, travel, or people. When you learn with emotion, every word becomes part of you, and that's when English truly stays in your life. In the last part, we talked about how emotion helps you learn better and remember longer. Now, let's talk about the last and maybe the most important thing: patience and belief. When I started learning English, I wanted to speak fast. I thought after a few months, I would be fluent. But learning a language is not a race. It is more like growing a tree. You water it every day, and one day, it becomes strong, but not in one night. There were many times I wanted to give up. Sometimes I forgot words I had just learned. Sometimes I listened to native speakers and felt lost. I thought, maybe English is not for me. But deep inside, I told myself, keep going. One day it will make sense. And it did. After months of small steps, I started to understand more, speak better, and feel proud of my progress. It didn't happen fast, but it happened because I didn't stop. So, if you feel slow or tired, remember, everyone learns at their own speed. Don't compare yourself to others. Just take one more step each day. Because every word, every try, every small moment brings you closer to your goal. Learning English is not about being perfect. It's about believing in yourself and enjoying the journey. And trust me, if you keep going, you will get there.